Hello everybody, my name's James and welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 11 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team, and it's live. We are circa 55 minutes away from the Gameweek 11 1:30 PM UK deadline today. We've got 4 3 o'clock kickoffs today, no 12:30 obviously, hence why I'm sitting here now. Over the next 55 minutes or so, I'll be trying to get through as many of your FPL dilemmas as possible ahead of that 1:30 PM deadline. Before I start getting into those cues, let me take you through some of the graphics. So firstly, team for me done, 2 free transfers. Salah and Larson in for Saka and Watkins. It was a plan for me to get both Saka and Watkins back probably within the next 6 game weeks. Probably Watkins first, then Saka later on. And that's kind of a key point for me in terms of decision making here and why I've not gone Trent to Lewis Hall, which is the move I've discussed quite a bit this week. It just allows me greater flexibility moving on. I've got 0.8 in the bank rather than 0.1 in the bank. So if I do deem I want to dive into Alexander Isak next week, I can. If I want to go down different routes, I can. There is a plan potentially to have Bumo to Saka longer term for me after Brentford swing of fixtures in game week 14. This structure better allows that. So all things considered, and actually just putting it in place in terms of I fancy Liverpool for a clean sheet this week. So did I really want to sell Trent this week? Yeah, it means I'm hanging on to Trent for at least the next 2. There is still the intention to move him on now at some stage because he is not quite justifying the money. Captain is on Dominic Solanke, as I all told you prior to him scoring twice last week. Welcome to the train, kids. That even if he blanked, he'd be getting the armband for me this week. So there's no doubt about it. So Dom's getting the armband. It's clear as day for me. Best non-penalty XG in the league is Tottenham's. Worst XGC in the league is Ipswich. Can't take a punt like that now. And I'm just a bit disappointed that so many others are joining me on that train now, because I don't think anybody else would have been captain Dominic Solanke this week. I do think he's the best choice of all players. Solanke, Salah, Haaland, Bumo, Brennan Johnson make up my top 5 for the captaincy. For me, Johnson over Son. That's based on expected minutes. Johnson highly likely to play 90 minutes. Plus what I've already discussed this week about the Johnson versus Leaf Davis matchup. Correct score predictions will also rotate with our top captaincy picks. Below me, please check the benching dilemmas, because if you've got 2 players and you're asking me, James, which one shall I start? There's a good chance the answer is there. They run in order, pages 1 to 4. Of outfield players. Player with a tick is the preference to start. They also run in order left to right. You'll find some goalkeepers on page 5. And to the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you will see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week as well. Right, that's the stuff that should answer some of your questions done. So let's actually get into them. Here we go. Good luck, everyone. Aaron Hill says, hi, James. Thoughts on what Salah and Haaland's EO will look like this game week? Torn on captaincy as no one in my mini league has Mo, so we'll all cap the robot. I'm in first right now. I'm not sure what the right play is. It'd probably be sort of 120% ish EO, probably both of them would be my guess, roughly. I think Salah will be higher this week. Yeah, I would imagine it both still over 100 though. Salah almost certainly. Eddie asks, says, hey James, would having Palmer change whether you started Lewis or Gabriel? I have Palmer and would start Lewis if I was certain he was starting. Cheers. Yeah, so this is perfect case for me. So if you take my bench this week, so I've got Raya, Gabriel, I mean it's Arsenal clean sheet waiting to happen, isn't it? Rodgers on the bench and also Wout Fass. But actually all 4 of them are playing against players in my team. So you'd have Fass against Garnacho, Rodgers against Trent, and Gabriel and Raya against Palmer and Jackson. It actually makes the selection straightforward for me this week. So I would probably just about still pick... was it Rico Lewis you asked about? Yeah, Rico Lewis above Gabriel. Yeah, I probably would. I think Lewis and maybe a Nottingham Forest defender, plus the obvious ones, Trent, Porro, Ait-Nouri. I would play them ahead of Gabriel this week. So yeah, I'd probably still go Lewis. But if I didn't have any of Palmer or Jackson, then I would. It's very close. And I'd be very tempted maybe to go with Arsenal therefore instead. But Chelsea are a good side. That game does feel like it could be 0-0. I will sell that to you. But I would probably go Lewis as per the bench in dilemmas. Stephen Moore says, hi James, not a transfer this week, but around game week 13-14, looking for an 8th attacker for the long term to rotate with Jimenez over the festive period. Do you prefer Rodgers or Semenyo? Cheers. So specifically in 14, Villa have obviously Brentford and Southampton at home in consecutive weeks, which I mentioned a few times about concern about potential rotation for Villa in one of those two games. If Watkins is benched against Brentford, it might well be that I captain him in 15. It could well work like that, actually. But I think Semenyo's fixtures from now up till Gameweek 20 are really good. More consistent and better than Rodgers, actually. Jay says, hi James, I have no more free transfers, but tinkering on swapping out Lewis for Nori or Maxwell for -4. Bench is very weak. Nah, I'm really not keen on -4s for defenders. I say this pretty much all the time. I predict Lewis to start, so that's an easy no for me. I think it might be at left back, by the way. Navin22 says, hi James, excuse me, is it too much to have both Larson and Cunha trying to move Haaland to get Salah? No, I mean, this week is obviously absolutely fine. You will come to a point very quickly where you will want to move one of them on, I think. But it's not a disaster move. And obviously, that if one's really outperforming the other, you can sell the other one, right? So, yeah, I don't mind it, but just a reminder that they're, winless. And you're picking two forwards from that winless team. And as I've said all through this week, and despite the fact that I bought Larson, I actually think Southampton might go down and win today. Billy Taylor says, yo, Jay Lynn's ignore if on the bench in dilemmas, but I've got Gabriel, Rico Lewis, Mikalenko, Collins and Milenkovic as defenders. Haven't got the foggiest on who to start. Got one free transfer. What do you reckon? Straightforward for you, Billy. I can answer that really easy for you. Just replace Aina to Milenkovic and Collins with Vandenberg, and you'll get the same answer to what's on the bench in dilemmas, mate. Doing things differently. Any Havertz knows. I would anticipate he plays, but no, not ITK, and I'm definitely not ITK on that lot, mate. Hasselbank is win says, thoughts on Loris, Levy and the watch story. Does the Spurs tag annoy you and other Tottenham fans? I think, look, every fan is going to be defensive of their club and defend them, and that's perfectly understandable. I think this whole watch story is a little bit of a non-story, to be honest. I'm bored of it already. Okay, it was a gift. Okay, you didn't really like the gift. You were captain of the team. Why don't you do something about it? So, yeah, it's not a big deal. Jordan Murphy says, do you think a no-hits approach is maybe a bit exaggerated? No, not particularly. But it's fine. I just think with the addition to roll transfers this season, I would rather avoid it. But yeah, look, I mean, if Jackson and Nori was to get booked this week, then yeah, I'm not against obviously taking a -4 potentially next week. I'll probably need to. So the idea of a no-hits approach, no, I mean, I like the principal idea, but if the right decision is to take a hit, take a hit. So I wouldn't be strict in terms of guidelines of definitively, I won't take a hit. No, it'd be a bit naive, that. Chris Koo says, hi James, how much weight do you give to EO? For example, if you were really struggling to decide who to captain between Salah and Solanke, who'd be your order of metrics in order to decide? Cheers. Okay, it's fairly clear that Salah is probably going to have the highest EO this week. I can't believe that Dominic Solanke is going to be over 100% EO, and you can see who I'm captaining. So how much do I pay attention to it? Not massively, certainly not at this stage, game week 11. And you could say I brought Salah in, and actually Salah returning would probably be bad for me. Yeah, at this stage I'm still rather more about the points very much. I think Salah outscores Saka this week and the week after. I want to captain Mo Salah probably in game week 12. And obviously it shields against a battering again this week. So I think Dom will be my highest scoring player this week. So that's why he's getting the armband. And I suggest, just generally speaking, whichever player you think will get the most points, then captain them. If you genuinely have a decision, when you're generally sitting there and you're worried about it, that's fine. If you are, then captain Mo. That's the easy leveler for you. The EO will decide that for you. You can go and cheer on both players most likely. Then do that. I'm not going to be swayed by that in game week 11. Chris Case says, afternoon James, hope all is well. Thoughts this week, free transfers, Robertson and Watkins and Havertz to Mazza, presume that's Matsurawi, Dallo and Solanke. Double United defence. Oh, sorry. Okay, I've misread that. Matsurawi or Dallo, plus Solanke and Cunha. Wildcard 14, attack the next 3 weeks. Or roll and wildcard 12, caveat no robot, no Salah. I'm going to assume you got Palmer. So it's 12 captaincy. 13 captaincy, which Boomo probably, guessing with what you've got. I mean, I'm fine with a no Haaland, no Salah strategy. I mean, I've bought Salah in now for the first time this season, right? So that's fine. Just with Matsurawi and Dalot, we don't know what Amram's going to do. Luke Shaw's back in partial training. Tyreek Mitchell apparently has been full training for a couple of weeks. What if Amram likes him? And what if it's then Matsurawi against Dalot and we don't know which way that's going to go? I'd rather avoid it at this minute. That's my only take on that. So I would prefer to move if you were going like Lewis Hall. I just think that United one is a transfer waiting to happen personally, and it's different to I'll take a punt on Fernandes for 3 weeks. Cool. We don't want to piss about with that position, right? Once you put the United defender in, you want to get it in and leave it. You might have to deal with it, possibly. On the face of it, Dalot should be a good pick, I think, but yeah, I come to the conclusion I'd just rather leave it. I don't know what the new manager's going to do. So I would prefer that with Lewis Hall. The one that I was considering earlier in this week, and in which case, yeah, make the move. Then you've got money to exploit and make different moves. Like if you want to go Solanke to Isak next week, yeah, shows up better. Pranaya says, hi James, can do Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Semenyo and Haaland to Isak, Salah and Larsson for free. Should I do it? Is it worth bringing in Isak this week? And thoughts on Larsson over Cunha? Have Solanke, Palmer, Boomo, Rogers, Johnson. I would pay the extra for Cunha over Larsson. I couldn't, and that's why Larsson is in there. And the structure of me having a forward at that price value rather than Cunha's price value is just going to work better for me. I can chain that into João Pedro, ironically, maybe in a couple of weeks, if that's what I want to do. That's not my plan, by the way, but I could do. Just a bit reluctant to get rid of Semenyo from that. That would be the only thing. Otherwise, yeah, cool. B. Hurlin says, morning James from Toronto, enjoy the weekend, coffee ready, let's go you Spurs, good luck. I'm sure that our North American listeners / viewers are probably pleased with the deadline this week, being a bit later. Gavin Richardson says, hey babes, are you seriously going to Money on Politics before that security podcast? You asked me to remind you I blame Suj, but he's the boss, isn't it? Yeah, apparently, but we've advertised it now, so yeah, thank you for the security reminder though, because that's yeah, we could shout me. I'm not going to remember this now, Gavin. It's deadline stream. Yeah, Money in Politics this week, security and football the week after. Boom, good idea, mate. Darren Jenkins says, hi James, I'm doing so badly this season playing catch up. Do I play safe with Haaland, captain, gamble on Son, or really risk it with a Boomo, Larsson or Garnacho? I'm so lost this year. Listen, Haaland as captain this week is going to pay much better than it normally would, mate. Because a lot of people are off by now, right? It's on screen. I'd be captain Haaland out of that lot, and the rank at the moment would be irrespective to that. Billy Taylor, apparently people who don't hit the like button will get their captain sent off this week. Don't shoot the messenger. Oh my God. Did you hear that, guys? If you don't hit the like button, then your captain's going to get sent off this week. Ooh. Billy, if Dom Solanke gets sent off because I can't physically hit the like button, I'm going to come for you. Dragos B says, hi James, 2 free transfers. Haaland and Dibbling to Salah and Cunha will roll. You're asking the wrong guy, right? Because I've been pro going against Haaland, so I'm going to say yes. Wes says, hi James, bench Palmer, place Semenyo. I wouldn't be benching Cole Palmer if he was playing fucking Harlem Globetrotters, mate. Simple as that, mate. No, just don't, no, I'm fairly certain Cole Palmer will play, right? I wouldn't be benching Cole Palmer in any game of football at any time. I cannot foresee that would be the case, ever. It could have. I think it could have been away against like Guardiola's Barcelona, mate, and it would have been play Palmer, mate. No. Downstairs says, afternoon legends. If you had both Haaland and Salah, I'm just remembering when Palmer went to Luton before Christmas, and so many of us benched him. I remember telling people, I was like, yeah, bench Palmer away to fucking Luton. Imagine. So there you go, bear that in mind. Play it your way always anyway. Wes says, that's what Dan says, absolute legend. If you had both Haaland and Salah this week, who would you captain and why? It's on screen, mate. I think Salah outscores Haaland. There's not a lot more to it than that. Also need to play 2 of Rodgers, Robinson, Lewis. Who your thoughts? Many thanks for all you do. Smash the like. Yeah, it'd be probably Robinson last out of that lot, mate. Adam says, James, who do you predict wins PFA Player of the Year and Young Player of the Year this season? If you'd have asked me in pre-season, I said Odegaard, and he's got 2 months to make up on everyone, hasn't he? So probably not. If Liverpool win the league, it might well be Mo. Player of the Year, probably Palmer, by virtue of him not winning that last year, or at least the PFA award. Young Player of the Year, I mean, Palmer probably still falls under that category as well, I suppose. Luke Stevenson says, hi James, start Flappy or Sells. I'd go Sells from that, as per the bench and dilemmas. Also, no idea what to do with Lewis. Roll and play Gabriel instead, or sell for 8 Nori. If roll, I'll sell for Hall or Kanate next week. Thanks for the content. Roll. Or just go to Kanate now. I don't know why that wouldn't be a consideration now, maybe, if you really want to move Lewis on. Look, I have no intel on the Manchester City team. I'm not the leader of the cartel. I'm not in the WhatsApp group. I'm not in any group chats, actually. I can't stand the fucking things. I've got Lewis predicted start, so I'd be rolling, mate. Giacomo says, hello, mate. Best players to transfer in for Lewis this week. Okay, there's a pattern here. 3rd defender, 4th is Vandenberg, or just roll and pray. Roll and pray. Vivek Gore says, hi James, who's a bench between Gabriel, Lewis, Trent and Mikalenko? It's not going to be Trent, mate. Mikalenko from that lot. Murphy says, hi James, thinking of taking Lewis out due to his fucking hell, guys, seriously. I'm bored of this with Rico Lewis already, guys. Would you take him out for 8 Nori, Hall, or leave him in for now? Cheers. If you want to take him out, I mean, listen, what's the get? If do you really think Newcastle keep clean shit at Forest? If you do buy Hall, you really think like is 8 Nori a better long term buy? I get the 8 Nori one more because you're going to get 8 Nori and you're probably going to keep him for a number of weeks, right? If you want to go like Lewis 8 Nori, fine. You want to go Lewis to someone who you generally fancy for a clean sheet this week, yeah, fine. This is the thing, right? When you buy a player like this, no one can sit and be like, oh, I didn't know this was coming. Okay, this is where it's at. So we're going to do this every week. So I guess, in theory, if you're sick of sitting here thinking this every single week, then for God's sake, sell him. And please stop asking me about Rico bloody Lewis. Rick says, hi James, love your content and your knowledge on football. Would you do Jimenez and Foden out for Cunha and Fernandes for a -4, have Haaland captain and taking a punt for Wildcard 12? No, I would not, mate. No, I think Phil Foden obviously scored in midweek. Pretty confident he starts again today. No, not for me. Murphy, there's no point like deleting the message after you've done it, mate. Read it out now, haven't I? But cheers, mate. It wasn't personal against you. You just happened to be the last one, mate. Stefan says, hi, which move would you suggest? Lewis to Dallo, Lewis to Trent, DCL to Larson. DCL to Larson, sick of this. K-Riz says, hey James, I'm wildcard in 12 for 2 free transfers. Would you do Watkins to Hoyland, Rodgers to Johnson as a 1 week punt, or just roll and save the transfers? Brennan Johnson, my boy. Yeah, it was 1 week, mate. Yeah, why not? The only thing on that is like, are you going to want Rodgers on your wild card, and do you lose value on it? That's the only thing to consider. Eddie says, morning mate, Foden to Bruno/Son for free before chaining onto Saka, or just wait and go straight to Saka next week? Straight to Saka next week for me. Uros says, hello James, what should be the defence structure for future game weeks? Go full rotating cheapy to have a premium like Gabriel, Trent or Vardio? For me, it's a little bit similar to the discussion I've had about the Wish J, the 5 forwards between Solanke and Watkins, and wanting at minimum one of them. It's the same with the defence. Like if you're suddenly land in a position where like your most expensive defender is going to be things like Kanate, okay, good luck. Good luck when you get over Christmas and you're looking at Arsenal's fixtures and stuff like that, and City's fixtures. No, I'd want at least one. At least one. I think the play actually a longer term will be to have 2 players like Gabriel and Vardio or something like that. So I wouldn't want to cut it too much. The problem is as well, once you land with that midfield, I keep saying this to people, you land with a midfielder, Salah, Palmer, Bumo, Saka, incredible. But you're never going to want to sell any of them. You never make these moves. You're cutting off too many players. You're better off almost dancing between, Palmer's got a shit fixture, I'll buy Saka for 2. You're almost better off doing that sort of thing, I think, from a structure perspective. That's easier said than done, don't get me wrong. But I'm thinking of doing something like that with Solanke, Jackson, and them other forwards in that price bracket now that I've brought last on him. So it might be this Isak for me for 12, Watkins 14, then back around for Isak again 16. I might be looking at things like that actually. So I would prefer people to have again, at least one that sort of doesn't have to be Trent's value, but one at least Gabriel. So then, it's only $1 million to Trent. Next up says Berticus says better pair over the next 6 weeks, mate. Watkins and Johnson or Saka and Cunha. Currently have Watkins and Brennan Johnson. Wondering if I should move for the latter. Money no object. I think the Watkins, Brennan Johnson actually personally across the whole 6. Be close though. Lewis JG 2011 says, hi James, Sun captain, speak to me. I've been on it all week, but having doubts are close to deadline. Okay, here's where we're at. So expected minutes for him this week, I would put around 70. Within that, I would also put Solanke and Johnson at 90 and 90 plus added time. So actually, maybe even going towards 100, right? They between them might be getting sort of like 50 odd minutes on top of Sun as a combination. For that reason, Solanke and Johnson are, in my opinion, both better choices than Heung-min Son this week. Heung-min Son is also not 100%. Heung-min Son has scored 3 goals this season. Admittedly, all at home. Those goals were scored by, I spoke about this last week, he pressed the goalkeeper for a goal against Everton. And the other 2 were transition counter-attacks where players got caught out of position. And Ipswich have a bias to attack down their left-hand side where their right-back stays quite defensive and probably isn't going to get caught out of position. Now, it's still Sonny, right? Sonny can return from loads of avenues. But he's never crossed my mind to buy him this week. I could have gone Saka, the Sun now, right? Not on my mind at all. He's not 100% fit. Listen, you want to punt Heung-min Son against an opponent like Ipswich, it could go, couldn't it? Right? So this is personal preference. My opinion is there's 2 better choices this game week within the same team. So for me, it's a no. Like, really, if you'd have said to me a month ago, who do you think will be top your captaincy ticker going into this week, I would have said to you, Heung-min Son. I would have. He's not 100% fit. Clear. Ange wants to protect him. I don't think you could even be surprised if Tottenham were to cut the goals up on Sunday if they took him off. Like, really early, like they did last week. He just assisted against Villa last week and Ange took him straight off. So, listen, it could be he comes off early and the damage is already done. But for me, it's a no. If you want to punt Heung-min Son for captaincy because of him and the opponent, that's fine. I'm not going to say to anyone, absolutely don't do it. What I'm going to do is detail the warning signs for you and then say, it's up to you. Richie says, hi James, bit knee-jerky to have activated Wildcard straight after Darwin and Haaland blanked last week, now regretting it. Would you go Bruno and Højlund over Bumo Jackson for max upside for the next 3? Cheers. Probably more upside in Bumo, mate. I know what you're saying about the upside in terms of gaining rank, but yeah, I'd still want Brian Bumo for the next 3, mate. I think Bumo will score more than Fernandes over the next 3, if you're asking me. Højlund over Jackson. Yeah, I mean, I prefer that one. Yeah, especially as Jackson could obviously miss a game through suspension. So, Højlund over Jackson, yeah, and then that gives you some investment in United. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not Fernandes over Bumo for me. No. Burke says, hi James, on Wildcard 12, would you go Bumo and 8 Nori or Semenyo and Trent? So from next week. Yeah, I mean, there's every chance I'd want to captain Bumo in 13, so that just gives the biggest influence of all on that, and then I'd be looking to move him on possibly. People are going to find that hard, including me, right? I've had Bumo all season, so 7 million. By the time we hit 13, it'd be so popular for captaincy. He could be 8, could be 8.1. Sell him afterwards would be tough, but that's kind of part of the plan at the moment. By the way, it doesn't necessarily mean immediately, because I don't think Villa away and Newcastle at home straight afterwards are terrible. But then there's a swing of fixture. I mentioned I'm trying to line up Bumo to Saka. Is what I'm thinking of maybe lining up in 16. Otherwise, I might go Bumo to chain Bowen for a few weeks and then on to something else maybe. Victor says, hi James, just came to tune in on your Spurs thoughts. Good luck this game week. Good luck to you too. Ryan says, hi James, I'm ranked 3.7 million. Do you think I should stick with Haaland or sell to Isak and upgrade Semenyo to Salah? I don't know. I mean, I don't fancy Newcastle to score this week. You're batting a 1-0 Forest, so with that in mind, it's close enough. I'd probably leave that a week. Thing is as well, with Haaland, it's the same thing. I'm just checking if there's any messages on Team News, by the way. It's the same thing as always. You need to have the stomach to go without him. I can't tell you if your stomach is strong enough to go without Erling Haaland. Because the thing is as well, once you sell it, how are you getting back? Were you selling Salah? Oh my God, Haaland got a hat-trick this week. I must go back. Were you selling Salah for Southampton? You ain't getting back. Oh, we'll sell Palmer. Palmer's got Leicester. You ain't going back. So you need to have that stomach to go there and accept it and know and shut yourself down and go, no matter what he does this week, I'm taking him on. I can't answer for anybody whether how comfortable people should or shouldn't feel about that, because ultimately this guy, as long as he stays fit, I'm pretty sure by the end of it he'll finish as the top scoring player in the game. Even with the fact that he's given Mo a start now, Haaland will catch him if he stays fit. Pretty confident of that. So you need the stomach for that. I can't answer that for you, but you're asking someone who's gone without Haaland all season and is doing not too badly at the moment. So I'm going to say yeah, but also on this one I would say no, because as I said, I think Isak wait a week. I think Semenyo I think will return this weekend. Mo yes as well. So no, I'd probably leave it at this moment for this week and give yourself 2 weeks over the international break for a bit of clarity on what you want to do the other side. Because despite the fact, by the way, Salah and Palmer and Saka have really good fixtures in Gameweek 12. Don't be surprised if we sit here in 2 weeks and the number one player on that captaincy ticker is Erling Haaland at home to my team. Good luck anyway. Play it your way, ultimately. Vivek Gore says, have one free transfer. Whom to sell between Lewis and Mikalenko to get 8 Nori? I'd be bidding Mikalenko at this stage. Leo Sias says, Captaincy dilemma, Cunha or Bumo? Bumo for me, mate. Excuse me. Sam Streak says, good morning from Dublin, James. Good morning. I was going to say top of the morning to you, but it's bloody afternoon, isn't it? Good luck this week. Some defensive questions for you. Flappy or Flecken? Flappy. Mikalenko or Gabriel? Gabriel. Trent starting and Vandenberg as my fifth defender. Right, yeah, fine. S. Ross says, hi James, Calvert-Lewin or Hoyland to attack fixtures, no impact on future moves. Yep, fine, I'm going to punt that, that's okay mate. Ian Everett says, hello mate, 2 free transfers, had Haaland to Solanke and Diaz to Bruno planned all week. But the Diaz hat-trick in the week has made me doubt myself. What are your thoughts? Have a great weekend. Double down and get it done if that was your plan, mate. I haven't got Diaz in my predicted Liverpool lineup. So what, he's got hat-trick midweek. Okay. Through the middle. Nunes will play tonight, I'm pretty sure. FPL Andy says, morning James, need a 1 week punt before Wildcard next week. You still big on Brennan Johnson or tempted to go with Garnacho or Rashford instead? No, it'd be Brennan from that, mate. Yep. Yep, be Brennan. To our patrons, obviously, if we've got any confirmed news on the 3 PMs from reliable sources, please double check sources. Drop me a tag on Slack and we'll share it with the community here. Richie says also, could you please suggest a wildcard 11 based on secured minute players ahead of the hectic period? Cheers, mate. I mean, like, ultimately, you're going to go treble Tottenham right now, right? And to be honest, I probably would, if I was on wildcard, I probably would go Son, Johnson, Solanke. Then, you know, how do you feel about that going to Man City next week? Well, at least one of them would be going, so I'd want a bit of strength. I probably would go Cunha if I was on it now. Where else would I go forward? Jackson's the one I would want most next week if I knew he wouldn't get booked this week. I'd probably go Isak in place and then go, right, I'll go Solanke to Jackson next week if I knew Jackson would be available. Salah, Palmer going in. Boomer has said move it on. To be honest, Saka's probably going in as well. But I wouldn't mind setting that via Bruno Fernandes 1 week punt. We're already making transfers to next week, aren't we? Semenyo, great shout. Defenders, I'd probably put a Chelsea one in there like Colwell Canate would go in. Gabriel would stay in. I'd possibly go something like Verbruggen and Fabianski as the two keepers. Yeah, this is off the top of my head, mate. Zizou says, hi James, still have Dean and have 3 other playable defenders. Would you stick or sell for like an 8 Nori? I mean, in theory, and again, rotation might kick, but after this week, you've got 3 out of 4 pretty good home games for Luca Dane. I think if you're unsure, mate, leave it. But don't chase it next week, right? Once you've gone past this week, that's it. Dean stays. Matt Stacey, Lewis. Matthew North says, if I sold Vardy, I already have Lewis. It would enable me to do dibbling to Bruno Fernandes or Calvert-Lewin to Wish-J. Nice. Alternatively, I can roll with 4 free transfers in Gameweek 12 for a potential Haaland sale. Your thoughts? Cheers. Calvert-Lewin should go, man. I mean, yeah, Calvert-Lewin into Solanke now. And then reassess that. You still have 3 free transfers, or 2 or 3 free transfers to deal with shit next week, right? So, yeah, go. Go, mate. But Stafford says, hey, James, I'm on Wildcard 11. Thoughts on going with Sun Captain this week. I've covered that, so I'm going to skip. Alternative is just Palmer now. Salah Captain, roll my free transfer. Game at 12. Yeah, I guess like it depends. If you've got no other moves planned for next week, I probably would go Sun for 1 week and then go to Palmer. But if you want to move on like a Solanke, like I said, then no, I'd probably just go Palmer first and Captain Mo. FPL Haddery says, good day, James. Hope all is well. Robertson to Porro, Robertson to 8 Nori or roll my 1 free transfer. I would not buy Pedro Porro at this moment. I don't want people to misunderstand this, right? Pedro Porro is in my predicted Tottenham team. I think he's probably no better than about 60% at the start tomorrow. I think there's every chance Jed Spence will play. Porro was really fatigued, not injured, really fatigued at the end of that game. And if we had another midweek game coming up, I'd be really confident that Porro wouldn't start, actually. I'm leaning into thinking that he starts purely because there's no game for us next midweek. Now, he's going to go and play for Spain, but that's not Tottenham's problem. So there's nothing for Tottenham specifically to save him for. And that's leaning me into still thinking that he starts. Most of our Tottenham patrons who are on our Slack all think that Porro will start. To add some context to that, it's just a feeling that I have. Now, I'm a Porro owner, right? So I can't do anything about it. I just play him, right? And it is what it is. That's the end of it. Because there's no way I think he might get benched. Let me bench him. Like, I ain't doing any of that, am I? Come on. He plays. And I ain't selling him clearly either. But imagine buying him now and he's benched and then it's Man City away. What a regret on that. And he's not justifying it at the moment either, right? So what I don't want to do here is panic any Pedro Porro owners. If you've got him, you've got to do what I'm doing and just play him, right? But I wouldn't be buying him this week. No way. I'd rather buy a doggy. Honestly. Yeah, Destiny would play, that's a certainty. So 8, Nori, to answer your question. Pranaya says, even if Lewis starts, would you start him over Mick and Chloe? Yes, check the Brenching dilemmas, Pranaya. Liam Preston says, hi James, would you start Rodgers or João Pedro? I don't think João Pedro will start, mate. Leaning towards Pedro, but I know he's probably coming off the bench. There you go. Also want to take -4 to remove Calvert-Lewin and have exact money for Solanke or Larson. If Pedro had Southampton this week and you think, Pedro's getting the last half hour, like, fine. He's still playing Man City, mate. Just play Rodgers under that circumstance. No debate at all, I don't think. You want to take -4 to remove DCL. You take -40, mate. Have the exact money for Solanke or Larson. I'm taking you saying you got the exact money for Solanke. Look, the upside in Dom is there now, man. You take a -4 for a Wolves attacker. FPL Pippo says, good day, James. Hope you are well. Moved early. Delap to Cunha. Thoughts on DCL to Evan Nilsson or McNeil to Semenyo for -4. Who knows? You might be lucky and you might get some Everton news in the next 20 minutes or so. In which case, there's a yes, but otherwise, I think it's a no. It's a no. I'm not convinced on Evan Nilsson, personally. Semenyo, yeah, but it's worth saying. Semenyo, 4 yellows as well, man. 3, yeah, -4, I don't know, pal. Jake Kaguna says, hi, James. Start one of Lewis, Smith, Rowe, Rogers. They're all on the bench in dilemmas, mate. George von Schreiber says, play 2 of Hall, Anderson, Mikalenko, and Rogers. It's Joachim Anderson for clarity. Still the attacking player. I'd maybe go Anderson, actually, of the others. Yeah, I can visualise Fulham going to Palace and winning 1-0 today. I don't think they do, but I can visualise that. Probably go Anderson. Would he get booed? Would he get booed? Man, he's the sort of player that handles himself quite well, doesn't he? Chris Randall says Haaland, Brennan Johnson, Wood, Porro. To Isak, Palmer, Jackson, Gabriel after the international. I'm going to say, mate, ain't no way in hell you're selling Brennan Johnson or Chris Wood or Pedro Porro this week, mate. After the international, but assuming no injuries, but for -8, all would be long term. Chris, relax, my friend. Like, see how you feel during this break, man. When you start looking at -8, nah, man. Like, relax. See how you feel. See how you feel during the break, mate. They might all do well this week, and you think, no, I don't want to get rid of any of them. But on the face of it, like, yeah, sure, it probably pays over the longer term. But then that's also dependent on Jackson and his yellow situation. Gazman says, hi, James. Already done Eze to Bruno, Watkins to Cunha, but don't have Salah. Saka Palmer, so take a hit to replace Rico with Dallo. Only have Davis to auto sub and also own Foden. Sorry for long question. I say, okay, so all of that was just to ask me if you want to go Rico Lewis to Dallo. Like, I've expressed my opinion on the United defenders and a little bit of concern now. Do you know what? If anyone wants to sell Rico Lewis because they're tired of this inevitable situation they were going to land in, then yeah, sell it. Ashish says, hello, James. Hello, mate. Rake says, hi, James. Hope you, the missus and Harry are well. It's Harry's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Harry. Have 1 free transfer, plays Rico with Hall. All right, Nori will play Vandenberg and roll. Cheers. Look. 8 Nuri for me, this will be last time to buy. Like, if you're not going to buy now, I wouldn't be buying next week, for example, right? So you want to go 8 Nuri, you want to get that phone mode sorted out, then do it. Ali says bench 1 of Semenyo, Bumo, Garnacho, Raul Jimenez. Yeah, what up? From that lot, fuck a duck, mate. Definitely not Bumo. Not Garnacho either. I do recognise there's a chance he might not start, but I couldn't forgive myself if he did with that fixture. So I think reluctantly that's a bench Raul Jimenez, mate. Ben Thomas says, hi James, would you still move for Garnacho if you're buying now? No, I wouldn't. No. Missed the price rise and would have leave me with only 1 free transfer next week. Buying him means benching 1 of Jackson, Semenyo or Larson. No, if I went Garnacho a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, clearly some United fans are not happy with him, and that's enough to be nervous about it, let's say. Plus the impact of the new manager now. Remember, I bought Garnacho when Ten Hag was still in charge. So now, if I was doing it at this point, I get it. It's punty again, the fixtures. If I was doing it now, I'd be buying Semenyo instead of Garnacho right now. James OO, captaincy preferences are on the screen, mate. Lewis James, hello, mate. Did football win on Monday night? Come on, you whites. Did football win? Yeah, but he didn't. He battered down the door. We never were hurting them, Lewis. If you'd have lost 1-0, it'd have been a narrative after. It'd been, they had a lot of the ball, but it didn't really do anything. Margins, buddy, margins. I hope you enjoyed talking tactics. Bobby96 says, hi, James. Thoughts on Bruno, Solanke, Cunha for DCL, Iwobi, Haaland, -8. Palmer to Bowen next week. Sorry. So need Haaland money. Do you mean Bowen to Palmer, mate? I'm hoping so. That can't be right. Palmer to Bowen. Bruno, Solanke, Cunha for DCL, Iwobi, Haaland, -8. No, man. I mean, you could just be going DCL to Larson and chill. Couldn't you? Saying Haaland out as part of a -8. Okay, there's no way that could hurt in any way. It's a no from me. Greg Williams says, have FPL Towers put today's price changes on app yet? Couldn't see in their news section. I have no idea, Greg. I don't use their shit app, mate. Jerry Darmayu says, hello, Jimbo. Non-FPL question. Why is it a rarity for Big Six matches to be played on Monday night with the exception of Spurs versus Liverpool 2 seasons ago and Spurs versus Chelsea last season? Well, there's chances it can happen, right? Because obviously teams are in Europe. So that's a very good reason. I mean, you seen Villa v Newcastle on a Monday night last season, for example? Or no, so I don't think it's more the European teams, mate. That's why there's a big reason for that. So there's nothing particularly there, I think, from. I mean, Tottenham Chelsea was actually scheduled at Stamford Bridge was scheduled for a Friday night last season before it got postponed for the Carabao Cup final, and that would be one of the bigger security ones on that. I think the police in the northwest probably wouldn't want Manchester United or Liverpool to play at home on a Friday night unless it is against an opponent like a Fulham. I get that. So there is possibly a little bit of police advice on things like that for Fridays. Mondays don't think it matters so much. I think it's probably more about scheduling, to be honest. Look at the meetings between those clubs this year and see how many times. Oh, that could be a Monday night. It's probably not that many occasions, actually, mate. Damo says, James, who shall I cap this week? Solanke or Johnson's on the screen, mate. Etnic says, hi, James. Hope you and the family are well. The only decision remains Robinson or Konate as a starter. I'm also playing Trent and Watkins. Well, you can be near certain that Konate starts, so that gets the preference. Unbelievably. Oh, sorry, I've misread that. Robinson rather than Robertson. It's still Konate. Anyway, even more so, actually. Ashish says, thank you for all you do. Capping Haaland with Salah and Solanke and team. Brought in Raya and Dallo for Lewis and Ramsdale for 2 threes. Good luck, mate. Good luck to you too. Patrick Lawson says, hi, James. Would you sell Garnacho for Semenyo this week? I mean, I'm not, mate. So, no, I'll be honest, it's not really entered my head. If Garnacho's a problem over the next 2 weeks, we'll deal with that problem. Beanie123 says, hi, James. Do you think Maddison will start tomorrow? Nope. Shouldn't do anyway. Don't deserve to. He was awful on Thursday. I spoke about that on Clayton James yesterday. Meninda says Haaland to Havertz / Jackson and Rodgers to Salah for free. Haaland to Havertz, Jackson and Rodgers to Salah for free. Yeah, sure. Thumbs up, mate. Michael Quigley, hello sir. Flappy, Evan Nilsson, Vandenberg and Hall on my bench. Thinking of getting my bench boost away. Would you do it? No chance, mate. Just purely because Ariola might go back in goal. No chance. Nope. Voyas says, I'm taking a wild card after this week. So if Palmer is ruled out, any 1 week punt for you. I have Rodgers, Palmer, Smith Rowe, Garnacho, Bumo. Don't spend the money for the sake of it, mate. The answer's Brennan Johnson. King of Mandalore, João Pedro versus Welbeck as a buy next week. It's probably Welbeck, mate. Stephen Carr says, James, I love you. I love you too, Stephen. Tiago LFC, hi James, massive fan. Playing Maddison this week despite a shocking performance midweek. Seems like a perfect fixture for his qualities. Can't go back 2 questions, mate. Listen, he'll get on the pitch and he's playing against an opponent. So even in 20 minutes or so, he could return. So unless you've got like an amazing options elsewhere, I'd probably play him because there's another one. It's like, if he does start, I don't think he will. I would be selling that in game week 12 as an absolute certainty. In fact, if you don't, I want to know where you live. Please bin that after this week, mate. He's at real risk of becoming no longer a first team player. Or a first choice player, I should say, for clarity. I don't think he starts tomorrow. He doesn't deserve to. Perhaps Saar deserves to play. Chris Bradley says, morning James, who scores more points in the next 2, Bowen or Foden? Next 2? Foden. So no, don't make that move. Jerry W says, if you can only get one between Saka, Isak, Watkins in 12, who will it be? I have Trent, Salah, Palmer, no Haaland. The influence of this is going to be what you're selling, right? So preference for me right now from all that would be Isak. And I've left myself open for it now, which the Lewis Hall move was going to completely deny me. And if Jackson had got booked, I would have hated myself for that. So there is a dependence on what you're selling. So for me, there's an influence. I look at Solanke away to City and maybe a suspended Jackson and go, well, I'm Isak, right? Isak. I think Palace will improve now defensively, but they do still have some issues in midfield. But they might have that sorted within 2 weeks. Hughes will be back from suspension when they go to Villa, for example, in 12. So yeah, Isak, I think, from now on the face of it, but it does also depend what you're selling. Gridiron 88, ESR and Gabriel to Bruno and Dallo Matswari. Not keen. Listen, if you want to take punts to United players, it's fine. Particularly Bruno. I mean, the one thing with Bruno especially is there's no doubt in the minutes, right? There's one good aspect there with Bruno, no doubts, but no real interest to me. We are circa just over 10 minutes from deadline. Again, a reminder to our patrons. Sorry, I was just reading something which is irrelevant. If we have got any team news coming in through, guys, do let us know. Again, double check sources, please, but there's no sign of any information going round within the community at the moment as far as I am aware. Zach says, hello, 1 free transfer, 2.7 in the bank, Lewis to Porro, Dallo, then a hit later to get Palmer. 2, and Dyer to Solanke and getting rid of a premium later for Palmer. I get the feeling you want Palmer, mate. 3, roll and start Lewis and then Dyer and wish for the best. No, put yourself, you want Palmer clearly, right? So put yourself in a position to get Palmer. Go Solanke, mate. Faraz says, would you start Rico this week? Probably, but what other players have I got? I wouldn't start Lewis over Porro, Trent or Nori this week, would I? So if I had him, like instead of Gabriel, he's not starting. Rakes, I knew what you meant, mate, so don't worry, I didn't cock up, but thank you, mate. Appreciate the correction, but it's all good, mate. Jerry Domiu says, with how leaky City's defence is Lewis a sell next game and considering Hall or Kirk as replacement? Yeah, cool. Jonathan Brooks oh, dear. I might buy Rico Lewis next week. Jonathan Brooks says, hi James, what would you rate? I won't. What would you rate the chance of Maddison? I've just done Maddison. Thank you for your question. I'm going to move on. Zuby says, good afternoon, James. Worth getting rid of DCL this week if it costs you a hit in game. Which, yeah, probably. Where I look sell Haaland and Rodgers for Isak and Palmer. DCL would still be my team and a problem ahead. Yeah, bin it, man. Bin it. Get rid. But that said, I would not be taking like a... I bought Larson. I would not make that move to Larson for a -4. I wouldn't. So where you going? Prashan says, hi James, I have 2 free transfers, 2.9 in the bank, thinking of doing DCL to Solanke and capping. I have no Hull, no Salah. Okay, is there a question? Kada says, start Jose Sarr ourselves. I think Johnson will play. Fixture, the answer would be Jose Sarr, and if he doesn't play, then obviously you get Sells in. And I think that's what most people would do this week. I remind you that Wolves are at 5 clean sheets in 48. I would play Matt Sells personally. Asif says, start Watkins or Jimenez. Probably Jimenez. Probably. Close. Moino says, Salah. It's Captaincy on screen, mate. Ollie says, afternoon James, would you consider Lewis to haul this game week for an upcoming game? Yeah, I would definitely consider maybe selling that, yeah. Joe Pickrell, I get why, but isn't the narrative a bit silly? Liverpool have had easier fixtures. The Man City are 2 points ahead. One is flying and the other is in crisis. Pep always finds a way. We discussed this yesterday, Joe. Gazman says, already covered my question. Good luck, mate. You too. Super Sam Plays says, who do you think is the better option to buy for Haaland next week, Jackson or Isak? Next week, Isak. 4 yellows, isn't it, is the influence. Shazad Gill says, afternoon, James. Have Rodgers as 7th attacker, 3rd striker, dead spot. Worth shipping, put Porro and dead striker for Matswari and Larson. Shazad, do you know what? I feel like more tired today, this afternoon, than I normally do doing this in the morning. What did you just say, mate? I'm really sorry. You're not going to sell Porro this week. I mean, that's... Matswari and Larson is talking about striker spots. Sorry, mate. Do you mean Matswari for Porro and then buy Larson? You're not selling Porro this week. Matt Allen says the Captaincy's on the screen, pal. Yeah, good luck. Hayden says Wildcard 12, Watkins to Cunha or Rodgers to Garnacho for this week. Don't think buying Garnacho at this stage, mate, as we've covered earlier, mate. So there's your answer. Definitely Daniel says, which option is better? DCL and Foden to Bruno and Strand Larson. Haaland and DCL and Foden to Smith Rowe to Isak and Cunha. Hang on. So you got 4 free transfers for -8. Haaland, DCL, Foden, Smith Rowe to Isak, Cunha, Salah and Bruno Fernandes for -8 in total. Is Cunha a captain option? He is if you think he is, mate. No, I would not be doing the -8 there, mate. Rhett says, move Smith Rowe to Semenyo for free if you wish to. But I wouldn't be desperate to get that done with Semenyo and 4 yellows. Joe E says, if Lewis was your third defender with 2 injured on the bench, would you use a transfer to bring in a nailed player? Depends who the 2 on the bench are, mate. Because to be honest, the enabling player I'd be looking to buy most at the moment is Jacob Greaves, and he's injured. So, like, if you're worried about it, just do it, innit? I think you'll start. That's all I can tell you. I don't know shit. He's in my predicted lineup. But it is always going to be a problem with Rico Lewis. So you ask me personally, truthfully, if I was sitting there with him in, I'd be thinking, well, I might be down to 10 this week. But you know what else? I'll give you an example. There's a team I know that it was intended to take a -4 hit last week and missed the deadline and ended up with 9 players and they scored way more than they'd have got if they'd taken the -4. What are you going to buy that's like so good? Like if there's a clean sheets flying around everywhere. We do buy a Forest defender now. Oh, Forest been amazing defensively. Look at their fixtures. Like, if you've got Lewis and you've got 2 players on your bench who are like out, that's the sort of problem that's going to come up any week. So I would suggest dealing with it because you're probably just going to have the same problem this time next week, right? 5 minutes to deadline, guys. Let's be getting yourselves locked in. I'm sorry if I'm showing frustration on Lewis. It's just so boring for me when people ask the same question all the time. It's not personal against anyone. Solar Wind says, hi mate, please pick 2 to play out a Pickford, Fabianski, Lewis, Mikalenko, Fabianski and Lewis for me. Rhett says also, would you rather hold Jackson or Havertz and bin the other for Isak? There must be a temptation to add Havertz to Isak at this moment. I think Isak's stronger than Havertz next week as well. Stronger this week. So I'd be tempted to Havertz to Isak. KV says, are you worried that the gap between the Premier League and the Championship is growing and the promoted teams are getting relegated every year since many Premier League clubs have elevated their level? I mean, worried. I sleep fine at night, mate. But yeah, in seriousness, yes, it is obviously a bit of a concern. Of course it is. But I can't do anything about it. Pranjal says, hi James, I have Jimenez in my team already, so will it be a good idea to sell Smith Rowe for Semenyo as I've got already 1 Fulham attacking cover? Yeah. Be a shame when Smith Rowe assists Jimenez though, wouldn't it? Mustafa Gaming says, hi James, going for Solanke as captain as well with no Salah and Haaland for the whole season. He is the best captain option. Good luck and have a great weekend. You too. Oliver Render says, hi James, thoughts on a -8. Haaland and bench fodder out. Son, Solanke, Cunha in. Means benching Lewis and Rodgers, thanks. It's upside in it, mate. It's one of the better ones. You're going aggressive for good fixtures this week, mate. But yeah, repeat to what I said for someone else earlier on. Yeah. Taking Haaland out as a -8, nothing can go wrong here. You need the stomach for that, mate. Finley Scanlon says, Haaland dibbling to Salah, Isak, thoughts. Delap to Cunha -4 as well could pay off long term. Yeah, it could. Yeah, don't mind that too much. Because again, I think you're right to highlight. You'll be happier having Cunha rather than Delap going forward, I think, as well. So yeah, I don't mind actually that one. Joe Pickles says, do you genuinely believe that you will see Spurs ever win a Premier League in the next 50 years? Personally can't see it. Joe, if you'd have said to me in even 2015 that I'd see Tottenham in a Champions League final in 4 years later, mate, I'd have put you in a psychiatric ward, mate. You'd have needed it. So I don't know how we can do 50 years time. My football club might get bought by a state. Like, who knows, mate? Who knows? So, football changes quickly. Who could have ever foreseen Leicester win the league title? Think about it. I won't be here in 50 years, mate. So, yeah, I don't think that long. Football changes quickly, mate. It's not that deep. I'd love to win one. But I don't think, I might be here 50 years and I might not see one. If I don't, right? No, I've got no info on McNeil. It's about 2 minutes to deadline, guy. I'm not aware of anything. Patrons, if we got anything, tag us. I'm not aware of anything going round in terms of team news. In fact, I'm going to skip the questions at this stage. just in case anyone might have something interesting in the chat. I don't think they do. We're a minute to deadline, guys. So if I've not covered your question, it's obviously not getting covered at this stage. And let's be honest, it was probably about Rico Lewis anyway. No, I don't think there's any information going around at the Mountain Team News. Just checking a couple of sources, see if we've got anything. There's a few particularly keen on Everton information if it's going around. But I don't think we're going to get anything by the looks of it, guys. It is 1 minute to deadline. Make sure your teams are getting locked in, which includes me, which has just had a real urge just to check my own team actually and just make sure that Dominic Solanke is actually my captain. And now I'm going to make a secretive -8. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, the team's the same as on screen. Kieran Thompson saying literally no leaks. Wow. Doesn't look like it. I've got that at 1:30, guys. Done. Deadline. Locked it. We are locked out. Okay, guys. Thanks for everyone who contributed in the chat. If you felt like this was a boring stream, because Rico Lewis chat's a bit boring, isn't it? No, I feel sorry for people with that dilemma, but it's always going to be there. It's never going to go away. So if you don't want that type of player, just get rid. And no, Christoph, no, I did not make any transfers then, mate. Listen, if I'm top 500 with 4 game weeks to go, I probably am going to have to pull out a move like that, but there's no intention for me to be doing anything like that. I don't think anyone wants to captain me. Captain me, copy me, I mean. If you came just for the FPL stuff, smash a like, hit the sub button. See you next week. If anyone's got any non-FPL questions, pop them in the chat. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. You get no ads content from basic tier, access to our Slack channels from basic plus, access to all the podcasts from intermediate plus, access to all the additional video content and a Zoom call with me from advanced tier as well. Support the show at www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Do it because you want the additional content or because you want to support the show and the free stuff I do in my own time on a Saturday afternoon like this shit, answering questions about Rico Lewis. Not annoyed, honestly. It's fine. It's just boring. Right, if anyone's got a non-FPL, throw it in the chat. I'll tell you the freely available content next week's game review Monday, Tuesday probably People's Poll, Wednesday Clayton and James, Thursday COTC's Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest with Adam Pritchard and Mark Summons, and Friday Ask James. Don't know time yet. I need to work out my week. Support the show www.patreon.com/planetfpl. Right, if anyone's got any non-FPL, throw them in the chat. I'll cover it for 5-10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to go and enjoy my son's birthday weekend is the plan. DCB says, saw this pop up on my feed, went to check my team, was late by about 30 seconds. Sorry, pal. Zuby says, I'm not doing a FPL, mate, but I wish you luck, Zuby. Cool, mate. Chris Coo, thanks, always good luck, you too. Wildcard, nice one, James. Come you Spurs. Cheers, mate. Ian says, heartily recommend the Patreon. So much extra content. Eats Brill and the guys are Brill. Thanks, Ian. Yeah, even those two clowns, Suj and Clayton, who just copied my moves by the looks of it. Zugi says, great call on Bournemouth beating Man City last week, James. You might be saying that on Southampton beating Wolves today as well. I don't intentionally put one in for jokes, by the way. Dave Jones says, hit the like button. 641 of you. Yeah, guys, if you're still about, smash a like. It's appreciated. King of Mandalore says, title predictions at this stage. If Liverpool win and both rivals drop points this weekend, like you and I predict, that will be a huge psychological boost for Liverpool. I think they might do it. They are 100% in contention. And I told you the truth. If Arsenal lose tomorrow, I'll be in the bookies Monday morning putting up money on Arsenal. I still think they'll win it. Unfortunately. Matthew Archer says, how do you feel about Brennan Johnson now versus the start of the season? You think he'll be the long-term solution for Spurs? No. No, it's time. I think he's a weapon that can be used to great advantage at certain times. I think he clearly is a player that needs to have the arm around his shoulder and feel confidence. I think the fan base are learning that as well. There is a player there. Do I think there's a player there that's likely to be a regular starter for me in the team that wins the league for us, for example, which is the ultimate goal for me? Then no. Do I feel better about him? Of course. I feel better about him because he shows his own confidence. We spoke about this when he had that period of scoring the same goal all the time. It's like it's all different little finishes, like he's genuinely been working on it. And if a player's trying and putting the effort in, you can forgive all the other stuff. It's times when I watch Brennan Johnson, I want to grab him and say, come on. Don't mind the mistakes. Come on. Get into the game, mate. And at the moment, he's on it. So, yeah, I'm pleased with him at the moment. Is he the long-term answer in that position? I'd be amazed, mate. I'd be amazed. But with what we've got at the moment, he's part of our best team. And I don't really think that's questionable at this stage. So, I wish him all the best. Kira's95 says, realistic, do you think Amrin will improve Man United drastically during this season? What would your realistic target for the season be if you supported United? Can't say. This is the only chance. We'll be guessing. I can guess. You can guess. Realistic target for Manchester United this season should be to qualify for the Champions League. Because it is highly likely to go down to 5th. I think 4th is... I can't see them finishing above Chelsea or the other 3 teams. But 5th, like, could they finish above Tottenham and Villa and Newcastle and stuff like that? Yeah, of course they can if he sorts it out. Absolutely. When Antonio Conte took over Tottenham, it was a very similar stage of the season. Legitimately, no chance. I sat on this podcast, I'm pretty sure, when he took over and said, no chance we finished top 4. And we did. So there's no way you could rule him out at this stage. If it's going to be 5th, yeah, no, the target should be getting the Champions League, mate. It's not impossible. Will Jones saying Branthwaite confirmed starting. Okay, James, doesn't mean Michael Keane doesn't know. As per my predicted lineup, we'll see. James Lovegrove says, why do you have to wear headphones for the stream? Basically, James, because I'm such a legend and celebrity now these days. There's loads of screaming girls outside my window and they're all just screaming Rico Lewis at me and I just can't bear it, mate. So I have to wear the headphones under that basis. No, we live next to a main road basically, so it helps me with the noise. It's also, I can't hear anything in my ears. If Harry's chatting and stuff, I'm less likely to hear it and that will distract me. So it's more for me, actually. It's more for me. And then it's a habit. I do it here. I do it at work. So, but it's the same when I'm in Suj's office at work. If people walk through the corridor and might talk, so it just actually helps me a little bit with my focus. That is it. It's just purely for me, mate. Sean says, hi James. Just wanted to say I enjoyed the Euro away chat with Clayton. I've done over 40 with United and seen fans treated disgracefully in certain places. Istanbul last year was a disgrace. Yeah, I've not had any accounts yet from Tottenham fans of Turkey. And he played obviously in the same stadium last year. If it makes you feel any better, we should have conceded more than you conceded there last year. If it makes you feel any better, yeah, I don't really know how to get this message out, or what we can do about it, or if anything will ever change. Because it is worth acknowledging. It's not like an English team's coming, let's do this. This is why a lot of away fans don't travel in Europe. It shouldn't be like that, man. 2024, man. Not treat people like criminals before they are. It's like, I'm going to Barcelona a few years ago, Camp Nou, and you think, but Tottenham in the Camp Nou. This is the same year we got to the final, last group stage game, so it's December 2018. And they herded all the Tottenham fans to walk that kind of road. They made it all the way around the ground. It's not even around the ground. It's like around the ground and away from the ground and then back round. They'd built a temporary bridge that we had to walk over. And part of getting to this temporary bridge, it was like something out of like a school or something when they put a temporary bridge. It was such a shack. It's outside fucking Camp Nou. They made us all, it was on a road, and they put a fence across the road and made like everybody kind of pile into small groups onto the pavement and go through. And on the other side is like 4 or 5 like geared up police officers and they're pointing like guns at you. Fuck. What, mate? Come and watch football. The hell, man? Just something like that one really bothered me because my mum was with us for that one as well. What the fuck, man? What? Come and watch football. Go and your guns pointed at you. It's madness. And we put up with it. Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. But you can't not put up with it. It's nothing you can do. You back chat to a police officer, point a gun at you, I would get nicked, mate. It's terrible. It's really bad. But it's not just an us thing. It's like that for away fans, I think, across, not all, for clarity. Like in Germany, like I've said this so many times, Germany, brilliant and stuff. But some place you go, you think, wow, what's going on? It's football, man. Zubi says, who do you think is the best player? ITL? Is that in the land? In my opinion, it's Palmer at the moment. He's just on another level. Rico Lewis, mate, for me, he's the best player in the world. No, best player in the league at the moment, yeah, it's probably Palmer. Mike Nodegaard's about to go and try and test that, I think. Felix Hope says, just hit the like button. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you. Rhett says, who's the most annoying Premier League player? Probably Rico Lewis, mate. Who gets on your nerves the most? Who gets on my nerves the most? There isn't anyone in particular. I'll give you a few names. But I know that before we even play them that they're going to get my back up, so I prepare for it. So you don't lose your grip of reality when you play these players. But like, here's one is because of recent ones. It's fresh in my mind, right? John McGinn and his big ass, right? You know it's going into him. His big ass comes out. The arms go wide. You can't get round him, and he's just there, and he's waddling backwards like he's about to put his ass on the shitter, right? And you know that's what's coming. So you've just got to deal with it. He would be one. I have no particular dislike for John McGinn. It's just that. Bruno and his rat face annoys many, I think. Who's proper annoying? I mean, many associated with Arsenal, obviously. I'm trying to think of someone who really gets... Just think, Zaha used to be one. Just think, shut up, mate. There's not too many, though. I mean, with age, you just learn players are different and it's part of their job. And good at winding you up. Happy birthday to Little Man, says Ian. Thank you, mate. Craig Mitchell, happy birthday to the lad. Which matches on your P302 mug, James? So it's not a real game, unfortunately. This is from when I did the Champ Man FPL streams. The Champ Man community bought it for me, based on a game Tottenham won 1-0 at Arsenal through a last minute goal from Teddy Sheringham. So it's not even a real game, but it's a very valued mug that the community gave me. And had I never done them streams, I wouldn't be doing these ones. So there you go, works out, doesn't it? James Gibson says, are Man United going to regret selling McTominay considering how the new manager was set up? Does it matter? It's done, isn't it? You could always have that conversation about certain managers and certain players. I suspect the answer will be no, though. FPL Hitman says, hey James, heard you and Clayton yesterday talking about the Rodri problem for City. If he can't fix it and has to buy someone in January, who do you think Pep buys? Cheers. Happy birthday to the Lil Man. Thank you. I think Zubimendi, obviously Liverpool tried to buy in the summer, is the name that it will be linked a lot, I think. Don't think it'd be anything from this league. I wouldn't have thought. Something that goes in and walks into a City team that wants to win the league and Champions League straight away. Tough to visualise what that would look like. Don't know. I'd tell you what they might look at. Strange one, this. Is Bentancur. I've heard nothing to suggest him. I just think the profile player, and I'm not saying he's nowhere near Rodri level or anything, but the type of player that might be suited for that role for City, if they want to go to kind of more of a 4-1-4-1, or which obviously becomes like a 3-2-4-1 build in possession, then maybe Rod. Don't think we'd be when they're selling him in January though, but the money could be too good. Maybe, I don't know. And you could understand the desire of a player under that circumstance. And why have I brought this up, giving people ideas that I don't actually fucking like? I just think the profile player within the league that City would... Bruno Guimaraes, maybe? I could say Newcastle sending him in January. No, Zubimendi would be the most likely name, mate. Neil Kagan says, thanks, James. Happy birthday to Harry. Thank you. George von Schreiber, which Prem club do you think Gyökeres would suit best? Tottenham, mate. Yeah, I mean, he looks dynamite. Bring him, mate, innit? Yeah, unfortunately, the answer to that is not one I particularly like. The answer is Arsenal, mate. Birth Media says, is Strand Larsen the second coming of Haaland? No, Haaland is the second coming of Strand Larsen, mate. My homie says, James, how do you choose the Planet FPL correspondence? And also, how do you decide which week for Clash of Correspondence after listening to this week's one? Love your work, keep it up. I actually answered this in terms of the organising the Clash of Correspondence on Patreon Q&A recently. So for the benefit of our patrons, I don't want to answer that in too much detail. But the schedule's basically done up to December originally. And it's kind of at this point now, I start thinking about January and stuff like that. So the idea is to get clubs on when they've got good turns of fixtures, ideally, and give a balance where all the clubs get on. And also make it relevant for you, right? So things like, I think having Brentford, Bournemouth this week, is good. They've both got good, they're third and fourth on my ticker over the next 5. It's a good one to put in now, right? So the timing of these things is quite important. In terms of choosing the correspondence, I mean, a lot of the guys have been with us since the start where we were looking at fan representatives, so that's the majority of them. And then, to be honest, most of the recruits over the last couple of years now have just come from within our Patreon community. So if I have one of the correspondents says to me, James, not got the time anymore, stuff, okay, fair enough, then the first thing I'm thinking is to pick a correspondent from our Patreon community and give back to the community that supported us. So the last few guys that we've give gigs to, so like Lewis with Fulham, Rory Crystal Palace, Paul Ipswich, all patrons, mate. Not patrons anymore, by the way, mate. Correspondents don't pay for shit. Pay them. Stephen Carr said, the good thing about going from the Patreon community as well is I've already got an idea what these people are like then as well. Stephen Carr says, how different would the Premier League be now if B-Sky B were allowed to buy Man United? Oh, Christ. That's a 1999 headline. I don't know. I mean, there's every chance Sky might have been forced to sell the club or give up the rights for the league. I don't know. I don't know how it would work. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that would be allowed now, I don't think. Jay Barker says, happy birthday to Harry. What will he be unwrapping this weekend? Got Trim Boys age 5, and it's that time of year when I need to think of Xmas gifts. He told us this year what he wanted, which for those who know me and Harry well, or would know the story enough, that's quite remarkable in itself. So he wants this Hot Wheels Dragon set, which is like kind of looks like a giant car park garage with a dragon on top. It's got the Hot Wheels tracks and stuff. That's what he wants. It's been telling us every day for about 6 weeks that's what he wants, and that's what he'll be getting tomorrow. James Lovegrove, 6 years old. I remember listening when you were trying to work out if he was due during Spurs away at Barca, I think. When I went to Barca, he was about a month old. I wouldn't have gone. If he'd have been due around that time, I wouldn't have gone. I couldn't have. Actually, I felt bad. I didn't enjoy Barcelona because of that. It did feel wrong. That was near enough the only away trip I would have gone to at that moment in time with Harry being that young was Barcelona. Wife knew as well that was like the dream one always. It didn't turn into being a dream. We got a great result that night, but the going to the Camp Nou wasn't the experience it should have been, as I've already detailed on this stream. That would have been the only one, was Barcelona at that time. I couldn't miss it. It was the dream to watch Tottenham go and play in that stadium against Messi and get something that mattered. We scored an equaliser that got us out of the group in the last group game. So yeah, that was, to go back to, can you visualise Tottenham win the league in 50 years? That was as good as it got for me, mate. The idea of Tottenham getting a result in the Camp Nou, I didn't think much bigger than that, mate. Didn't even think I'd ever see Tottenham play there, never mind get to a Champions League final. So yeah, Harry was about a month after. He was born, we won 1-0 at Crystal Palace. I watched the game on my phone in the hospital while the wife was in labour. Not like a... it was hours later. It was a long labour. And we played Chelsea 2 weeks before he was born, and I shit in myself, I think. I think it was 2 weeks before, or the week before. I think it was a week late. I think, Harry. So I think, yeah, we played Chelsea. It was only like a week. We beat 3-1. That was when Sonny had the dribble down the right. Chelsea were in yellow and scored at Wembley. And I shit myself about that, going to the game at Wembley and her being a week away from giving birth. Just praying. Just do this at some other time. What would have happened if we'd been at home that day against Palace, dear? I'd have actually had to miss a game. King of Mandalore says, I think Liverpool's squad has more experience and know-how than Arsenal when it comes to winning. If Pep doesn't find a fix, I think Liverpool win it. Liverpool are in contention, mate. Ben Edinson says, did you watch much YouTube before Planet FPL? If so, what did you used to watch? Nothing, mate. Nothing. Like, I wasn't aware of the FPL community or FPL content or anything when I started. I was only aware of a couple of podcasts. Like, I think Who Got the Assists started like the same season as us. There weren't many about. So yeah, I wasn't kind of influenced by the outside stuff. And in terms of watching stuff on YouTube, nope. If I did, it would have been just like watching Tottenham stuff or something like that, mate. Gavin Richardson says Patreon had a dodgy signal, so the feed kept cutting. I'll re-listen for my cues. Next time Nico Suj asks a question, how much? Surely the stock answer is 250,000 francs, not 67 pounds. That's definitely an in-joke, mate. FPL Hitman, rare late deadline here, Canada. Gave me a chance to watch the full stream. Cheers, mate. Hit that like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Have a good one. JK Gunnar, hi James, from an Arsenal fan. I think you'll need to upgrade goalkeeper, DM and winger to compete for the league. Thoughts? More than that, mate. Mustafa Gaming says, got a confession to make to start with. I copied your team on the Gameweek 3 wildcard, now moving away from your picks, and you are the inspiration for the No Salah Haaland team. Cheers, happy birthday to your son. Thank you. I mean, it's fine. I would never problem with people copying my team anyway, because I like things like I bought Gabriel ahead of the price rise and stuff. So if people want to copy me, eventually they're going to lose out on a value perspective. Cole says, tuned in and heard there's loads of screaming girls outside James's window. I think a few people appreciated that. Rhett says, I know you love chicken, but where is the best place you've ever eaten for an away match? Just chicken anyway. Eating for an away match? Fuck. Argentinian steak restaurant in Amsterdam is springing to mind. Nice pizzeria went in Milan. I'm trying to track somebody. I ended up in a pizza right in Dortmund. What the fuck? Munich, we ended up. It was Christmas fair and stuff when we was in Munich. That was nice. Prague, candlelit dinner with my mate on Valentine's Day. He said, don't eat the meat, that'll go right through you. So I had a lasagna. don't eat the meat in Prague. Where else have I been? You can guess that I'm not thinking the English places here. Me and Dad had a really nice meal in Newcastle actually this year. Can't remember the name of the place, but it was right in the town centre. That was in Brazilian place, maybe? I can't remember. That was nice actually. Okay, there's a few for you off the top of my head. King of Mandalore, ITO is in the league, by the way. I'm not down with the kids, mate, but I appreciate the clarification. Gavin says, thanks for the stream, great Patreon content, very welcome. I'm going to have to finish the stream because I've got to go. There's so many questions, guys. Mustafa Game, Bruno, FPL Hitman's the last one. I'm going to do each of these in like 10 seconds. It wasn't the Weatherspoons, Matthew. Mustafa Gaming says, Bruno and Noise, yeah, Greg Frost, James, did you go to the FA Cup full fan away at Barnsley 97-98? Just wondering if we were at the same game. No, but I was there in the FA Cup quarter final in 98-99. And do you know the shirt flew over my head? True story. James Gibson says, treatment of away fans comes from historical trouble from various English clubs in these cities. Spoils it for everyone who follows after. I get that. But I don't think, the more I'm learning, I don't think it's just how English fans are treated, actually. It's just how away fans are treated, I think. And you're right, absolutely right. Unfortunately, everyone's got groups of people who do ruin it for everyone. But then get them people out of the problem. I don't need to have a gun pointed at me. It's absurd when you think about it. Thomas One says Richarlison is annoying. Yeah. Sam Vines, other countries have been just as bad, and they don't get treated that way though. But do we know that? Greg Frost says, surprised City didn't bring back Douglas Luiz in the summer, to be honest. Bajita says, I was in Berlin in the summer during the final weekend Euros and the police behaved very badly towards all the English fans. I got better treatment just because I'm from Finland. Okay, interesting. Your team wasn't playing. I don't know if that's helpful or not as well, right? The Archbishop of Banterbury. Love your content, James. Good luck, everyone, this week. Casey Wolf, Saints to beat Wolves. James, you're killing me. Sorry, mate. Greg Frost, lineups getting tweeted out by FPL. Gavin Richardson, Argentina steak with that sauce. No place in London that do it at great value. Good date night too. I'm fucking well past date nights. I've got all these girls outside, don't I? FPL hitman Neil Mulpay was annoying while he was. Neil Mulpay's a good shout, yeah. But you had to prepare for Neil Mulpay like he was going to be that. It's I'm not going to do any more questions, guys. Klinsmann ranks as a legend, yeah, but not right at the top of Spurs forwards. Period, not long enough, mate. But so iconic. Let's have a look at a few of the team news. So it is a back four by looks of it for West Ham. But Todibo plays, not Mavropanos. Antonio back in the team. Bowen does play despite a little bit of speculation that he wouldn't. And that's near the team that I had up, except it's Todibo instead of Mavropanos. Brentford, Vandenberg to right back, Vitaly Yano at left back, Matthias Jensen into centre midfield. Southampton are unchanged, so that means Adam Lallana does play. Kepa is back in goal for Bournemouth. Tavernier is a substitute. There's a start for Tyler Adams. That's interesting. I'm going to guess maybe a more advanced role for Ryan Christie today, who is a player I really like. Nelson keeps his place for Fulham. They're unchanged. Everton, Calvert-Lewin does play, much to the concern of owners. Branthwaite is in for Michael Keane, so it is a back four. Decore back in the 10 position, no. Dwight McNeil, Lindstrom ahead of Harrison, and Dyer does play Garner, Gay and Mangala as the centre midfield too. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because I've got to shoot, guys. But much love. Thank you all for your support. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope your arrows are green. Please remember to be nice to each other. Hit the like button, smash the sub button. So you'll be back with me for the Game Review podcast on Monday. Thanks, everyone. Ciao for now.